Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to another Real Housewives of Atlanta review, episode 9. Y'all know how I do. Let's get right into it, honey. So we got Shamia, Kelly, and Cynthia. Cynthia's making her rounds to find out what all happened, y'all, at the last part of the trip. Cynthia went to bed. Y'all remember when the girls went to the pool downstairs and they started talking they mess about Angela, and she overheard and she got herself together and pulled up downstairs to the pool. Yeah, that night. So Cynthia missed it all. She went to bed earlier, which I think was best, child, because I know Cynthia was tossing them back, honey. She couldn't hang no more. She couldn't hang out with the girls no more that night. But anyway, so Cynthia, like I said, she first meets up with Britt and Kelly and Shamia. And they started telling her, Shamia's telling her, hey, everything went well. We had a great time until Britt brought up Angela's husband having an outside baby. So then it flips to Angela, and Angela's telling her, Cynthia, how Portia said what she said about how she could F her husband. And then it flips back, then it flips to Portia and Cynthia, and Portia's telling her version of the story. She's basically sitting there lying in that lady's face, telling Cynthia that she don't remember saying it or whatever, and that she would never sleep with nobody's husband. So Cynthia was like, so it was the Henny? And Portia was like, yeah, actually the Henny actually saved her, because I was about to blow that ish up or whatever the case. But anyway, Portia's still lying, talking about she would never sleep with nobody's husband. She would never do that. And Cynthia's standing there like, yeah, no, I know you wouldn't do that, girl. What? Like, why you ain't give Portia the same energy you gave Kenya? Okay? Because you know that Portia was dead lying to your face, and you want to sit there and agree with her talking about, yeah, no, I know you wouldn't do that. Anyway, so then Portia was like how she swears that she don't know nothing about that lady husband or whatever the case, and or she didn't hear anything about him, but also she would never have, she doesn't have the intentions on repeating what she just heard about him for the most part. So anyway, then it goes back to Cynthia sitting down with Kelly and Shamia, and Kelly also confirms what Portia said, and stuff. So at that point, Cynthia invites, she tells the girls that she's having her Bailey Q in honor of Juneteenth. She's having it on Juneteenth. She's having her annual Bailey Q or whatever. So, she just was telling them she want them to dress up and stuff like that. But, yeah, so that was that. I actually got my notes down here now this time, y'all. Before I move on from that, I forgot that Shamia did read out a text message that between her and Angela. I guess Shamia called herself reaching out to Angela when it was all over with, when they, made it back home. And Angela gave her a nice nasty read, being a nice classy woman that she is. She gave a nice nasty text message. She, basically let Shamia know, I'm not with that fake phony ass sisterhood shit. Y'all can keep that, y'all can have that. Y'all always downstairs, y'all always down there laughing and talking about me. Like, so I'm not understanding why you reaching out trying to see how I'm doing, And Shamia was really confused by it. Like, I'm confused why you was confused. Anyway, we move on from that. So then we see Kelly throwing a party shot. Kelly always doing something at that house. One thing about Kelly, she gonna throw an event, okay? This time it's Cha-Cha's party. I don't know if it was the dog's birthday party or if she just threw the dog a party. Cha-Cha, it's the dog, like I said, Kelly's dog. And poor Cha-Cha. The dog had all kinds of color on her fur and all kinds of jewelry. She done put lashes on the dog. I just can't with Kelly. But Kelly is right on brand for Kelly, okay? But Kelly said the dog spent 9 hours in the salon. Cheer. Like, girl, what? So then we see Britt roll up with her dog Mimosa, who's, like, she don't even fit in here. Like, I love dogs, so I ain't talking about that lady dog, but I mean, like, Mimosa name don't even go with her. Like, is Mimosa even a her? I don't even know, but Mimosa the dog and don't give Mimosa at all. It's just like an old lady dog. It looks, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, it don't give what Cha-Cha be giving. Like, I'm just saying. But anyway, so those two go off and they start talking. Britt is telling Kelly how, you know, her mother is finally under contract with the house. She's selling her house and she's going to be moving in with her. And it's under contract. You know, everything should be going through within the next 30 to 45 days. And that how, you know, on her end, you know, she hashed out her differences with her sisters and stuff, and that the youngest sister, you know, the emotional one, she's going to be coming over to help move and stuff like that. But her and the oldest sister, Tierra, Cher and Tierra are still at odds. But Britt is just happy, like, you know, everything is slowly progressing with her and her family or whatever. Everybody is seemingly, you know, going to be helping the mother move or whatever the case. So Kelly then basically just tells her, you know, about the sit down that she had with Cynthia, and that Cynthia is having her Bailey Q. And that was pretty much it for that scene. You know, it was a lot going on with the dog party, but it was just between them two, that was kind of it for that scene. So then we move on to Portia, Miss Diane, and Lauren. I don't know, it said Portia's mother's house, but I know Portia's house when I see it, her old house. But anyway, so Portia rolls up to the house with a puppy for PJ. She says she got PJ a puppy because she feels like PJ could feel her low vibrations and her low energy, and she kind of wants to compensate for that by getting her this puppy. Also, PJ is at an age where she's starting to ask for siblings. Portia's like, and I don't know where I can buy no siblings from, so we're gonna get her a puppy for right now, which I thought was cute. The dog was cute. PJ remind me so much of Dennis. Like, she's such a beautiful little baby. However, she has her father's, like, it seems she has her father's relaxed, chill vibe. Like, you never see PJ smiling. I've yet to see her smile. Even when Portia gave her the dog, like, she didn't crack a smile. You know, I just, you know, she just reminds me of her dad. Because even though Dennis smiles, but it's just like Dennis always got that same look on his face. And that's what PJ be giving. But anyway, she named his dog Peanut Butter. That was cute. So her mother, and Lauren go in the kitchen. Lauren is Portia's sister. They go in the kitchen, and Lauren brings up, you know, the divorce. She's asking Portia, is there any update with your divorce? So Portia's like, yeah, the latest update is pretty much that the prenup is done or something like that. So after the prenup was entered, something like that. And after that, you know, the divorce should come. It should go smoothly from there. So then Portia starts to tell him about, you know, her the last night of the party, and well, her birthday trip. And she was just telling them how, you know, it was a great time. She had a great time up until, you know, somebody called her on the phone and gave her a heads up that Drew and Dennis had been shooting together, child. Here we go. So, and I'm just like, Portia, who called you? Like, who gonna call you in the middle of your birthday trip where you're having a great time and supposed to be celebrating you and celebrating another year around the sun? Who gonna call and interrupt that and make it sour for you? And I'm surprised Miss Diane didn't have the same question, because she sure had a bunch of questions when it was Shamia. When Shamia was looking out for Portia, and she came and told Portia that Britt and Kelly had some questions for her and about her, and she brought it to Portia's attention before they even met, and Miss Diane had a whole problem with that. So I don't understand. It was mighty funny she ain't had nothing to say about, or any questions about who could have called Portia and told her that in the middle of her birthday trip. Anyway, Portia did admit to them, like, she's like, child, bought my own birthday down, you know, my own night down when it came to that, because she said, you know, at that time when she got the call, she felt betrayed all over again, because her and Dennis had already had to talk. Y'all know the story. Y'all know what happened. You know, they already had to talk. Dennis said he didn't feel well. He lied. It's typical, and you know, whatever. But anyway, so she said, and then she felt betrayed all over again, and then to have to go downstairs and see Drew and stuff like that. So it just kind of blew her vibe or whatever, and she was salty about it. And then she said that Cynthia pretty much, you know, she had to talk with Cynthia, and Cynthia pretty much convinced her to, you know, get dressed and go downstairs to the pool and have a good time. And that's what she said she did. Now, while she's downstairs having a good time, she tells her mother and her sister how, you know, she started making fun of Angela, and how she forgot that she gave Angela the room that's closest to the pool so Angela could see and overhear everything like she did, and how she was downstairs making fun of her, how she calls Charles' name, you know, basically saying that the way she says Charles is the same way Miss Netta says Charles. Y'all know Miss Netta on here on social media. And Charles, your lunch is ready. That Miss Netta, yeah. So Portia was making fun of that and stuff. And then she said, here come Angela coming down the stairs, stomping down the stairs like Bigfoot and calling that lady Big Bird and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow. So her sister was like, well, who called her Big Bird? Because at first Portia told, in the confessional, she told the producers she had the same question. Like, who called her Big Bird? Who said that? Then told her peoples that she was the one who said it, which we already knew that, child. We already knew that was Portia being messy. So, yeah. So she basically admitted to them that, you know, she was talking about Angie, and Angie pulls up, and yeah, she left out the part that, you know, she packed her ish up and left and went on in the house, child. She didn't want no parts. She didn't want no smoke. But anyway, and they sitting there eating it all up, laughing and kicking. I'm just like, this why Portia the way she is, because nobody checks her. Nobody checks her for her big 43 years old of age, or 44, however old she is. She is well into her 40s, and she should not be acting like she's still in high school. And that's not an age shame at all, because I'm in my 40s, and I act accordingly when it comes to ish like that. I mean, there's a time and a place. Well, at the end of the day, as a grown woman, I'm never going to sit there and laugh at somebody else making fun of another grown woman. Like, I don't care if you're my sister or not. Like, I'm not with that. Like, that's whack. You know? So, anyway, but they all family, child. So, anyway, then we see Shamia going to visit her former surrogate, Shadina. There's a lot of shas in this season, child. But, she goes to visit her, former surrogate, Shadina. Shadina has the agency, a surrogacy agency now. Well, I guess she had it for some time now, but so basically Shamia pulls up there because she's going to meet the potential candidate to be her next surrogate. You know, so they kind of chop it up a little bit, you know, asking each other how they're doing. Shadina asks how Shiloh's doing. And Shamia tells her, you know, Shiloh hit her next milestone. She's, you know, even putting her own passy in her mouth by herself. Yay, Shiloh. But, yeah, so they kind of talk about that. And then Shadina was telling her how she feels amazing now. You know, she feels like she's back on track. She got to get her life back together since her unfortunate situation when she was carrying Shiloh. Y'all know she had developed breast cancer. And unfortunately, Shiloh had to be born prematurely because of it. So anyway, you know, everything is all good on both sides. So then we meet Asha. Asha is, like I said, going to be, or was at the time, the potential Shamia's potential surrogate. You know, they said she basically is a clean board of health. Her screen and everything says she's ready to go. You know, I don't know what. Oh, I guess Shamia has to do her part now. I guess I'm not really sure how it all works, but Asha is ready to go. So we meet Asha. She's already a mother. They asked her, was she dating? And I forgot all about like how that would play into, you know, you being a surrogate. You know, it's a lot that goes into it. It really, really is. But they asked her if she's dating anyone, and she told them no. And they was like, please let us know, you know, please let us know, because, you know, I guess the male has to go through screening and all this stuff. It's like a big thing. Like, I mean, obviously you're carrying a baby, and the way that you're going to be carrying this baby, it's a really big deal. So, but I never thought about like the other side of it, like if this person has a spouse, you know, or you know, or like they said, just dating someone at the time, you know. I never thought about that side of it and how it could affect the whole process. So they basically, you know, told Asha if that's her case, whenever it does happen, if it happens, whether she starts to date, just please let them know. So then Shamia gets her husband on the phone, you know, so he could see, she gets him on FaceTime so he could see Asha and I guess meet her, you know, via FaceTime. The first thing he want to know is, Asha, are you ready? Like, I'm not going to go back into how I feel about, you know, Shamia doing all of this to get her husband this son, you know, which clearly, obviously, we still don't know what all happens, you know, with this surrogate, but far as we know, there's no baby yet. You know, Shamia they don't have a son at this time that we know of. I haven't heard of anybody being, you know, Shamia baby coming about now. I haven't heard nobody say that she has a new baby at this time. So I'm just left to assume that if they did go through with Asha, it didn't work out. So, because, you know, this show was filmed a long time ago. So, you know, to where either Asha would just be giving birth or she should have been giving birth by now. But anyway, so it closes out with that. So then we get to Angie and Charles. They're at home at the gym. Charles is training Angela or whatever. Charles has a really nice physique. He's a really nicely built older man. He really is. Oh, how old is Charles? I feel like Charles gives like he about 60. He gives like he about 60-ish, you know. But he looks really good. His physique, his body, he looks really good. So you could tell he's, you know, keep up with his workout. And even Angela said that shit out. She said he be having her in there doing the most, sweating and stuff. So, when I like that though. At least she got, you know, her man to help personally train her. Because y'all see Angela, her body is T2, period. But, so, you know, she starts to basically put him on about all that went down in Nashville. And, you know, how she invited Drew, even though Drew wasn't invited. So he was like, how you going to invite somebody to somebody else's party that was not even invited? And she was like, well, you know, my intentions were good. You know, she thought that by her inviting Drew, that would help her and Portia, you know, talk and hash out their issues or whatever. And he was like, why would you think that? And she's like, well, you would do the same thing. He's like, no, I wouldn't. Yo, I messes with Charles. I F with Charles the hard way. Like, I like him. But anyway, he was like, no, I wouldn't. So then she starts to, you know, tell him how, you know, what's her name? Nasal spray, Britt. How she was being Portia's mouthpiece at the, you know, at the dinner or whatever the case, like, because she had asked Portia, you know, why you sleep with that lady husband? And he was like, now, why would you ask her that? And she was like, well, no, she said, yeah, why would you take that lady? And then that's when he was like, why would you ask her that? How you know, she took him? And then Angel's like, well, the streets is talking about it. The streets say. He's like, that's the last people you want to listen to, or the last thing you want to go by is the streets. So he just basically was checking Angela and in a nice husbandly way, you know. And so she just was like, yeah, well, that's, you know, that's what was out there. That what was being said, child. So he's just like, that's rude. He's like, that's rude. So then she brought up, oh, okay. She said, let me tell you about your girl Portia, how she feel like you're easy to F. And that, and how she was telling him how they you know, they said that he was messing with some lady in New York. And he was like, Portia don't even know me. You know, they don't even know me. And it's true. But then she's like, then Portia said that she could F you if she wanted to. And he's like, you believe that? She's like, no, I don't believe. He's like, oh, okay then. He's like, she can't sleep with me. She can't. No, she can't. You know. So anyway, he basically asked Angela, well, was that the last time you saw them after that? In other words, you know, like you need to give them more. Okay. So, and she's like, she ain't seen them since then. And he was like, well, I would love a ticket to a front row seat to that, you know. And he's like, you got to show them the west side of Chicago. I said, I know that's right. So they, you know, laugh it off and move on. We move on to Portia hiring an au pair child. Because her life and her mother life is so busy. And Lawrence too. They all three of them who sit around in that house every day, all day, it seems. They all too busy to take care of Pilar. Even though Pilar is Portia and Dennis's responsibility. But Miss Diane being a grandma or glamour in this case, because she do look good, ain't even going to hold you. You know, I mean, but you ain't doing nothing else. Why Portia need an au pair? Like, what do she have going on to the point where she cannot raise her own child? Okay, the baby already looks sad every day. Like, come on, sis. I mean, come on. So she hired some au pair from South Africa. And she invited Dennis over so that, you know, he could meet her too or whatever. It was very, very brief. She came, she met the household at that time. And then Portia shooed her off to the next house so that she could get settled in. I don't know. It's something fishy about that au pair situation. Not on the au pair's part, but on Portia's part. I feel like Portia is her sponsor. Because why the fuck you need an au pair? Like, I'm still on that. What do you need an au pair or even a nanny, a regular nanny? What do you need somebody for? To help you take, to take her, these is Portia's words. She said to take care of Pilar. She didn't say help me take care of Pilar because I got this, that, and the third going on. I got multiple businesses to run. Even though you're your mother first, you should be. Okay, and ain't nothing wrong when you are a busy parent and you get a little extra help, whether it be from your mother, your father, your aunties, your sisters, whoever, or a nanny. But at the end of the day, she ain't say that. She said to take care of Pilar. And then the lady gonna be living with y'all. And she told Dennis she gonna be living with him and her. Oh, so you gonna trust the au pair to live with Dennis at his house? Really, Portia? But it's a big deal when he in the studio in front of every fucking body filming with Drew. Cameras rolling and all. Anyway, so like I said, the au pair comes and then she goes. Portia is telling the producers how, it's very important and for her to have a cohesive co-parenting relationship with Dennis. And then next thing you know, he pulls up a chair next to her child and she lights up like a goddamn Christmas tree, as per usual, whenever Dennis is in her presence. Because that's all it's about. She don't really care about Dennis and Drew filming. She just want that old thing back in her pocket. Okay, that's it. That's all with Portia. She lonely now. So it's giving desperate. But anyway, so, the producers is, kikiing and not kikiing, but, they're joking with Dennis, asking him stuff like, well, why did Portia have to find out behind her back that you and Drew was still filming together, stuff like that. He like, who, me? No, Dennis. Me. You're like, he is such a fool. But, yeah, so what happened, y'all? I'm losing my train of thought with these two. But yeah, like I said, Portia, they sit down or whatever, and then next thing you know, Portia and Drew, I keep about to say Portia and Drew, Portia and Dennis, they go over to sit down and have a talk. Portia brings up the Drew situation again. He, tells her that if it'll make her feel any better, Drew is no longer signed to him, and that he thinks that she might have scared Drew off. He thinks she might have scared Drew off or whatever. So Drew ain't signed to him no more, child. He's still in the alliance. Portia's about he didn't know that they was going to be filming together. He was already in the studio and then Drew came and the cameras and stuff was there already. Boy, bye. So how we heard you so clearly, Dennis? If you ain't know they was filming you, how we heard you so clearly? Because that means you had on a mic. Where you was at when they was putting the mic behind you or on you somewhere? Like, man, yo, Dennis is funny. But anyway, like I said, then Portia pulls out her phone to try to basically find a text that she claims that Dennis sent, insinuating that him and Drew had slept with each other. So he was confused. He was like, where? He got up out his seat to see, like, girl, when I said something like that? And she pulls up some damn text messages that don't say nothing nowhere near what she claimed. Okay, like, Portia dad be playing herself. It is very fucking comical at this point. She be playing herself, honey. But anyway, we leave off at that. Hold up, y'all. I'm sorry. We leave off at that because them two, like I said, we can't. We can't with them. So we go to Britt's house. Britt and her family are at her mother's home that she's selling. It's Britt, her grandma, and her mother, and then her sister Cher, the baby sister. And, they're helping her mother pack up or whatever, and they're talking. And, her mother basically, I was a little confused because at first I thought Britt told us that she, we saw her ask her mother to, would she be willing to, come live with her when she bears a child or however the baby's going to get here. And she wanted her mother to come live in with her to help out with the baby. But now it's like, from what I'm picking up, her mother's selling the house because she's tired of housing everybody. Okay, not Britt, but seemingly the youngest. What's her name? Cher and her kids. I feel like every time Cher just seems like the type that every time she'll get out there, but she won't give what it needs to give, like in life, like, and then she'll always find her way back home, her and her kids. And it seems that the mother's tired of having a space for Cher to keep coming running back to her and her boys. So that's what I got out of it, because even when they were talking, and Britt was saying how, you know, the house has always been like a safe house for them, or I think she has said that, you know, one of them said it, that house has always been like a safe house. This is another reason why Cher was upset that her mother is selling the house, because she's like, oh, we had 1 billion homes, you know, why can't we just have one home where everybody can always come back to? That's your problem, Cher. Okay, that's why you don't thrive. This is why you don't succeed in life, because you always got a home to come back to. Your mother tired. She tired of raising you, and then now your boys. Okay, because you are, that's the very emotional sister. And I get that she is still grieving her dad. I remember Britt asked her mother, when did her father purchase that home for them? My mother was like, back in 2014, and he didn't even make it a year, you know, in this house or whatever. So, you know, and I get that, you know, she's still grieving her father, because according to Britt, she was the closest one to her dad. Cher was, you know, and her mother always would have beef, and her father would always, you know, take up and have Cher's back. So now that she don't have that, she still have beef with her mother, you know, and but, you know, she feels like she don't have her dad there, you know, or whatever, you know, to hold her down and, you know, just be her dad. So, and I totally get it. You don't tell people how long they can grieve, and, you know, but I feel like Britt uses that, I mean, not Britt, Cher seemingly is the type of person who uses that as like a reason for her to do things that she shouldn't be doing, you know, as an adult, you know, and not doing better, in other words. I feel that's how I feel. I feel like Cher does things like that as an excuse for her not to do better as an adult, and for people, her mom, I should say, to always feel bad for her and always have her doors open to her. So then Cher was like, well, that's what it is. You've been with my dad since you was 17 years old, and that's what it is. Now you ready to have your whole phase now. So they all start laughing or whatever. My mother's like, hey, well, you know, I know that's right, ma'am. But they go in the kitchen, and Britt gets her sister Tiara on FaceTime. Tiara chose not to show up. I do not blame Tiara at all. Tiara is me in situations like that. Like, we don't have time. Okay, baby, we gonna stay as distant as possible. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no drama. I don't got time. Okay, y'all keep that over there. I'll be over here. I'm gonna see y'all on FaceTime. But anyway, so they get Tiara on FaceTime, and Tiara, you know, she was just telling them, you know, I'm not there, but I do want to be there, but, you know, I'm not there. I still love you. And here goes Cher. She starts yelling at her sister in the phone. Ask her, she's like, you know, you love me, you love me. So her sister was like, of course I love you, Cher. And she starts crying, so why you don't answer my calls? And, you know, I'm grieving, I grieve every day. I'm just like, oh my gosh. This is why Tiara knew better than to come. Like, Tiara she already knew what it was going to be. She already knew what it was going to be. Cher needs a therapist. She needs a therapist. I don't know if she has had this in the past or if she's going through it, but whatever, if she did, it didn't work. But she needs some type of grief counseling, some type of therapy, and she needs to grow up. At the end of the day, she needs to grow up. I know she's the baby, but you are a mother, okay? And I'm pretty sure she's well into her 30s. You can't keep walking around acting like this and causing chaos. She even started yelling at her mother in the kitchen when she's looking for alcohol. And her mother was like, if you came over more often, you would know why I ain't got no alcohol or who I gave it to. So then she's like, how dare you give the stuff, my father's stuff away? And she's like, how dare, her mother said, how dare he leave me? And she's like, hey, he died. So they're going back and forth. I'm just like, oh my God. So Granny had to step in, child. She had to step in and tell them they need to stop acting like that and behave. Okay, y'all too big for that. Stop it. So yeah, we kind of leave off on that note with them. Yeah. So then we go to Cynthia's house. We finally make it to the Bailey Q, child. Hold up. We finally make it to the Bailey Q with Prophet Tasha. Cynthia told her friend Tasha to come over and talk about she a prophet, child. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Anyway, so Britt arrives first. So Britt is actually the first one to get read by Tasha, because I'm not calling that lady no prophet, because that girl is hood as hell. But anyway, she tells Britt, you know, you're always thinking about yourself, you know, thinking about everybody else, you know, it's time you put yourself first, you know. And then she mentions Britt's other business venture that I guess she has you know, brewing or whatever. By the way, this Tasha lady, she knows all their tea, okay, she got on social media like the rest of us, and she got all their tea. She got it from social media and Cynthia, period. That's just it, and that's all. Ain't nothing profit about that damn lady Tasha. But we gonna move. So Britt is all, you know, happy that she read her, you know, right. So then we see Kelly arrive. And Tasha reads Kelly about her divorce, and she basically tells Kelly, you know, or asks her, you know, like, what's going on, you know, with that car, you know. So Kelly, you know, is like kind of shocked, like how she know about the car, apparently in the divorce or before they got divorced, or with, I don't know, but apparently Kelly's ex-husband bought her a Jeep, and she named it G. I think it was a G-Wagon, she said. I might be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But I think he bought her a G-Wagon, and then he bought it for her, and then he sold it. So that's what the Tasha girl had brought up, you know, that the fact she's asking her what's going on, what happened with that car, what happened with that vehicle, or something like that. And so Kelly was surprised that she knew about it. I don't know why, because again, it's on social media. So, but so then Kelly's like, how did she know that? Nobody knew that. I never told nobody that. The only person I told was her. And she's pointing to Britt. I'm like, chill, please. So then we have Angie. Angie comes in or whatever. And yeah, we're going to call her Angie. Angie comes in. So Tasha calls herself reading her about Charles, you know, bringing up the fact that, you know, they're too comfortable, they need to go on a vacation, you know, and basically bring the sexy back, you know, in their marriage. So Angela looked down, she's like, where's my phone at? Let me get me on some Victoria's Secret. I'm like, oh God, like really, whatever. So then Shamia comes with her looking like she's straight off of Living Single. She was giving Queen Latifah vibes. Ooh, ladies first, ladies first. Yeah, she was giving those vibes. So Shamia comes in and her messy ass. And when she sits down, I think that's when Tasha asks, does anybody own a Porsche? So Angela's like, I don't own no Porsche. So then Tasha looks right at Angela, and she goes, he's eyeing one. So then Shamia and her messy self gonna sit up there and say, I gotta be petty, but is he eyeing one or is he eyeing Portia? Like, girl, why would you say that? Even Cynthia wasn't feeling that. Cynthia was like, stop, please. Like that, like, stop. Like, why is you trying to be messy, Shamia? Cut it out. You better stop being messy, because Portia asleep with yours, okay? You better know Portia asleep with your man too, baby, okay? So don't get cute, and don't think it's cute to laugh at another woman and make fun of another woman and her husband and her situation with your best friend involved. Don't do that, okay? Because she wouldn't be no best friend of mine. If you could move like that with another woman's husband, I don't want you nowhere near me. I don't want to be friends with nobody like that. I do not condone that shit. I don't want to be nobody's friends, okay, that can do something like that to somebody. Because if you could do it to her, you could do it to me, period. So anyway, like I said, Cynthia ain't find that funny or whatever. So then Tasha tells Shamia that, you know, this is her year. This is her money-making year. 2025 gonna be her money-making year. And Shamia, you know, laughs it off, and she's, you know, being Shamia. Kelly at that point, Kelly and Cynthia is tossing them shots back again. Kelly's still doing her handless shots, child, that she was doing down to the bar in Nashville at the Coyote Ugly. Or whatever. They was tossing them back. So, okay, in comes Portia. So now it's her turn for Tasha to try to read her. And Portia was just like, huh, hold on, y'all. She feeling something. She feeling something. I thought that was funny, because even Portia knew this was bullshit. Okay, I'm pretty sure all the ladies knew it, but Portia was the one who actually, you know, played right into it. But she tells Portia tells Tasha, she's like, you can't read me, because all my shit on the internet. All you got to do is look me up on social media. All my stuff is there. And so this is why I know that lady got all her information. Like, come on. So yeah, Portia basically told her, you can't read me. So then Drew comes. Drew looks so nice. I love the blonde. I love the red lip. I thought her face, her makeup was beat to the gods. Drew looked really nice. She's carrying herself well. I like how she comes strutting in very last minute, very last one. Okay, yeah, I love it. only because I know Portia hated it. That's why. But anyway, So when Drew comes, everybody's expecting Tasha to read Drew. And then Drew was like, no, she's going to do me in private because I don't need certain people. It basically knowing my business. No, no, we ain't doing that. So then, here go, what's her name? Nasal spray. Here she go, being messy. And she's going to starting up with Angela again. Asking Angela, did she think that the prophet was spot on with the things that she said? So Angela's just like, girl, what is it? Like, what do you have something to say? Like, let's talk about it. Let's get it out. Because you trying hard over there. So then this what Britt wants to turn up and show off like she always do. Because she got her sidekick Kelly over there. And she's like, do you understand that words coming out my mouth? Yelling at Angela. So Angela's like, girl, with your big mouth, how could I not understand the words? So then she was like, maybe, Britt tells her, maybe you should use your mouth more often. And Angie was like, I do use my mouth more often, but not as often as yours. Not as often as you do. She's like, those stretch marks around your mouth. When she said that, that triggered Britt, honey. She jumped up out that seat. Where? Show me. Show me. Baby, we showed you. Kenya showed you. Okay. But and she showed everybody in the world at that point. So, well, yeah. Matter of fact, you wasn't shown because you wasn't there. But Kenya showed us. Okay. But anyway, so then they're going back and forth, and Brett's like, well, maybe if you use your mouth more often, what she said, if you use your mouth more often, it'll, something about her marriage. In other words, it'll help her marriage out or whatever, something like that. Oh, so Angela was like, listen, you're a whore. Angela said, Britt, you're a whore. And everybody was so shocked and surprised and appalled by it. I don't understand. Like, what was we missing here? Why was y'all so surprised when Angela called her a whore? Like, okay, again, Kenya showed us. So, and Britt kind of filled us in on the type of girl she used to be back in her teenage days. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't understand why everybody was all surprised by Angela saying what she said. Okay. So then she gonna say, well, maybe you need to be a whore in the bedroom. And so, Angela was like, I'm married, honey. And she was like, yeah, man, Britt told her, yeah, man, don't even acknowledge your 10-year marriage. He don't even acknowledge that y'all been married for 10 years or whatever. So, like I said, they was going back and forth about it, child. And, then Britt want to throw out, well, because that's what Angela was like, the whole world knows, about my marriage or whatever. So then that's when Britt tried to hit her where it hurts with that baby ish again. Oh, but do the world know about that baby? And here go Kelly on the other side of Angie. Yeah, do they know about that baby? Like, Kelly, first of all, mind your business. I advise Kelly to sit this one out. Now, I like Kelly, y'all. Y'all know I said I think Kelly real cute. I think she was a great addition to the show. She's bubbly. She real loud, though. But I do like the spice that she brings to the show. But at the end of the day, girl, you need to pipe down. Because what you going through right here, I would advise you not to get in nobody else's drama when it comes to them and their husbands and their marriages, child. Because even though your tea is slowly leaking out every day, okay, yeah. So anyway, like I said, them two went back and forth or whatever. So it was over. It was over. So then Cynthia brings out the game. She wants to play the Juneteenth game. We gonna scurry past that. Portia still proves to us that she's a dingleberry. Nothing's changed since the Underground Railroad comment. And then she had the nerve to say she ain't never been loud and wrong before. So anyway, moving right along. Cynthia wants Portia, or she tells Portia and Angela that she wants them to sit down and talk, so they do. She put them in another section of the house, and they go and they sit down and talk about what all, the beef between them and what happened back in Nashville. Angela's still, sticking to it, saying that she only invited Drew because she thought she was doing something good. Portia turned, on her end, she wasn't feeling that, or whatever the case, so then Angela brought up, like, well, why was y'all talking about me? And Portia felt like, oh, you always bringing up your husband to me. No, Portia, you brought up her husband to her. Okay, did you, like, this, I don't understand about people who are delusional, honey. Like, yeah, I mean, like, you brought her husband up to her. That lady was having a nice dinner, her first dinner, if I'm not mistaken, for the group, down to the bank. And you sat up there out of nowhere and just brought up, something about her husband. Of course, she going to keep asking you because you keep backing away from the question every chance you get. So, like, how you mean? You know? Anyway, like I said, Portia is still just a dingleberry, period, point, and blank. Okay? So, anyway, you know, so they, you know, talk about, you know, it further or whatever the case may be. Angela, as always, she apologized to Portia because, when Cynthia came back, she was like, you know, she think that, you know, Portia should apologize for talking about her husband. And Portia was like, and she talked about mine. Girl, who? Simon? Simon not your husband. And Simon really never was your husband if you want to get technical. Simon was your business partner, but so you thought. Okay? But anyway, so Angela apologizes like she always do. Okay? And Portia talking about some ditto. Like, child. Anyway, I'm glad that's over. They hugged it out at the end, but we'll see how that, you know, goes moving forward in the season, child. But at the end of the day, they hugged it out. So then in comes Shamia. Shamia wants to sit down and play stupid, like she don't know why Angela had an issue with her via the text message. You know, why would you, you know, what part did I play in this? This is what Shamia wants to know. Well, Shamia, were you not downstairs kicking and cackling when Portia was saying what she was saying about that lady husband? Was you not downstairs when Angela came downstairs to check y'all and approach y'all about the situation? Weren't you one of the ones that she saw and heard, like I said, downstairs talking about her and laughing all about it and thinking Portia, it was funny and shit? So what you mean, what part did you play in it? You was there. You was with it. And just like Angela said, even though Portia is your best friend, you being a married woman, I would expect different from you. Like that's just what it is. Like, I would expect different from you. Like, you being a married woman, why would you be sitting down there laughing at some shit like that? Oh, because it's your best friend that's doing it. Like, so what? If it was my best friend, first of all, like I said, it wouldn't be. Because I wouldn't have no best friends like that, that feel like that, you know. But at the end of the day, if that's being that is your best friend, you could have checked her. Okay? Shamia be acting like she is so afraid to, like, speak up when it comes to Portia or whatever. But when Portia has done her dirty. I'm not talking about via her, you know, with messing around with her man and that like that, far as we know, you know. But at the end of the day, Portia has done Shamia dirty. We seen her talk about Shamia with her mother, or let her mother talk about Shamia. And she didn't really check her mother like that. And I'm not saying check her like that, but I'm saying, you know, you didn't really have Shamia back like you should have. We see all throughout, you know, different seasons where they sprinkled Shamia in there. You know, you walked around and made it seem like Shamia was your assistant or just your lapdog, which she is. She's definitely her lapdog. We see that now with our own eyes. But I'm just saying, like, Portia never comes to Shamia's defense. She never, just like last episode, when they was coming or going to, you know, the different bars or whatever the case, and Shamia was in the car crying. I mean, in a Sprinter crying about the domestic violence situation. You ain't see Portia jump up and go back there to console her, pat her back, hold her hand, nothing. It's the shit that Shamia be doing, you know. So that's why I say Portia stay playing Shamia, you know, and Shamia stay eating it. But yet you going to ride and be this girl lapdog like that, and you know, I just. First of all, y'all all too grown, okay? Y'all grown-ass women. Best friend and I got my own mind. I got my own opinion. And if my friend is wrong, I'm going to tell my friend she's wrong. That's just it, and that's all. So, Angela basically let her know, like, that's how she felt about it or whatever. And, you know, Shamia's still feeling like, well, that was Portia. I'm not really here to talk about Portia, what Portia did. Why are we not here to talk about what Portia did? Because you, again, was a part of that. You want to know what your part was? That was your part. Like, the fuck. Anyway, so basically with them two, they just let it be what it is. You know, they didn't, it was nothing for them to really hash out or whatever. Angela still feel the way she feels. Shamia just gonna have to eat it, and she did, and you know, accept the fact that that's just what Angela, that's just how she feels, and it is what it is. So we left off on that note. You know, they take a group pic and stuff like that. Everybody go back to the barbecue, have a good time and stuff. So anyway, y'all, that's all I got for you tonight. You know, as we see the mid-season trailer, you know, it's going to be a lot more to come. Frickin' frack. Going to reunite eventually, meaning Portia and Phaedra. And then the new frickin' frack is going to be breaking apart, which is Kelly and Britt. I'm looking forward to that because I already knew that was coming down the line, honey. I knew it. Okay? But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. as always, I thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. And don't forget to like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below so we can talk about it. Okay, y'all know I love to talk. Don't forget to check out my vlogs on my channel as well. And I'll see y'all in the next one, child. I'll see y'all in the next one with my something to say. Peace out.